Hello and welcome back to School Attendance Beyond the Percentage. I'm your host, Melissa Warwick from A-Star Attendance Solutions. This is the podcast where we dive deep behind the statistics and really explore what drives great attendance in schools, from belonging to inclusivity to leadership and innovative strategies that make a lasting difference. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Saroj Williams, Assistant Head Teacher and Attendance Lead at Fortis Academy in Birmingham. Saroj has been leading some really inspiring work around inclusivity in school culture, and the results on attendance have been significant. Saroj, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for asking me along, Melissa.
Thank you. Before we dive into your work at Fortis, could you tell us a little bit about your journey and what led you to take on the role of attendance lead?
Yeah, so before I came into teaching, I was in banking, so retail banking, a very target-driven, analytical background, and obviously customer-focused as well. So now I've come into schools, and my customers are little customers, they're the pupils, as opposed to retail customers. And going into attendance was a natural progression. I'm a maths teacher. There is a lot of analysis, a lot of data that you need to crunch, in the background. But also, I like to be customer facing, so with pupils all the time, and parents. So it seems to be a natural progression for me, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. It's nice to hear as well of kind of life before schools as well.
There was a life before,
yeah, definitely. So one of the things we hear a lot about in attendance, it's not just about kind of monitoring registers, but children actually feeling like they belong and feeling like they're part of something within school as well. And at Fortis Academy, you've placed a strong emphasis on inclusivity and belonging. Can you share what that looks like in practice at Fortis Academy?
Yeah, a little bit of context. Fortis is a highly deprived area within North Birmingham. We are probably the bottom sort of 10 percentile of the country for deprivation. And we acknowledge that our pupils have got a struggle for some families just to come into school, and having that sort of holistic belonging and approach to pupils has actually made a big difference to them wanting to come into school. It's not a battle anymore. Pupils feel that they belong to the school through lots and lots of different initiatives that we can talk about later. But it is about that sort of coming out of that socio-economic background that they've got. I know attendance is part of the education, a part of attainment. It's all, the step ladder to get out of deprivation and poverty. And it's so important for our pupils.
Yeah, definitely. And kind of how do you ensure that every pupil, regardless of their background, feels part of your community?
Yeah, well, it starts, first of all, at the front school gate. There's a member of leadership there, sometimes two of us there, and we meet and greet. We hurry them along as well, because some of them are strolling. So we get them through the front of the school, and then they walk up a long drive. At the halfway point along that line, drive, we have this big red line painted on the floor, and it's not a warning sign. It's just that by the time they get there, their phones are put away. They know that they are now in school and our rules and regulations start. But that's not the reason for us. The reason we've got that line there is it's to make sure that we can get rid of any barriers that a pupil might have had for a reason not to come to school. So they know that if they get to that red line and they haven't got the right shoes because their shoes broke or they're wet from the rain the day before and they haven't managed to get them dry, we have a room right next to the red line where we've got spent about £5,000-6,000 on uniform, ties, shoes, actual uniform, shirts, whatever they need. We ensure that that's not going to be the barrier for the day to dysregulate them. Before they start, every September we have ready to learn packs. So I remember when I was a child, my parents used to walk us down to WH Smith and we'd get our pencil cases. But our kids, we acknowledge they cannot, some of them can't afford that. So rather than them thinking they can't come to school because they haven't got that equipment, we provide it to everybody. So there's not anybody that's highlighted, look at that person can't afford it. Everybody is given the equipment. They've all got iPads. So we break down as many of the barriers as we possibly can. And parents know that as well. They phone us up and say, look, so-and-so's trousers ripped last night on the way home from school. And we said, no problem, send them in, we'll sort them out. And we get them organised and ready for the day, basically.
And it's that trust and that relationship that we're going to come on to a little bit that makes that work so important, so important. So have you seen a distinct link between fostering belonging and improvements in attendance?
Because, years ago, before I took over, it was the child was either absent or in school. That was it. That was attendance. There was nothing else about attendance. They were in school or they were out of school. And I know we have the stick, which is the legal process, but that hasn't always really worked. My journey over the last 2 years is the carrot and the stick. So they do know that they have all the barriers removed, whatever we can possibly do for them, whether it means a bus pass and we have to get them home safely, or if we have to collect them in a minibus, we'll do that. Yeah. And pupils understand that we're not just there to get numbers in, we're there to support them. Even like over the exams when, a lot of, say, year 11s, the mental health is just not there because they fall apart because they've got their external exams. During the PPs, the mock exams, we have that practice run. And if we have to collect, so they're going on at the moment, so if we have to collect them, we'll make sure 100% of the pupils are in. Yeah. And if it's a case of 2 people going in their own cars, they will collect them. Yeah. Because there is no barrier. That school run is not the barrier. And our pupils come from all over Birmingham. So it's not they're not walking into school. They are catching 2 or 3 buses. Yeah. We have got HS2. So we have to take all that into account because the last thing you want is a pupil coming into school absolutely flustered because they've had that awful journey. It's like as adults, when you've got a bad journey, we have to dysregulate them, calm them down, get them into EDGE, which is our registration. Okay. So that's another half an hour. So they've got through the front, they've got the red line, they go to EDGE, and we have an amazing curriculum catered for each of the different year groups. So it's quite bespoke. They have half an hour with their form tutor, who again is that next port of call, meet and greet when they come in, make them feel really part of that team. Yeah. And, it's great. So if they don't know where they're going for the day, that's the form tutor will make sure that they are organised for the day. And we have, the curriculum we have in EDGE, it really does embrace what the kids need to know at different journeys throughout their school.
Yeah. There seems to be so many touch points along the way where you're checking in with those students and providing that reassurance that absolutely you want them there and they do belong.
Yeah, I mean, even after form time, every teacher is at the entrance to their classroom and they are checking in on that child, getting there, get your coat off, let's get in, let's make sure that you've got everything. And, most teachers will... they should still have their ready-to-learn packs, but obviously a pencil might have gone out the window or something. So we always supply whatever we need to, so they don't feel that that's a reason why they're not learning. That's not an excuse. Yeah,
definitely. And I think schools can sometimes often struggle translating theory into practice as well. And those everyday strategies that you're certainly doing kind of along those touch points along the way to remove those barriers. I'd love to get right into the nuts and bolts of what's happening at Fortis. So what are the key initiatives or routines that you've introduced that have had the biggest influence on attendance?
So I know it's everywhere. The statement, attendance is everybody's responsibility, but ensuring that. Yeah. So it's not just the attendance team. It's not just me as the assistant head. It's not just the attendance officers. It's the form tutor, like you said, those touch points. It's our Senko. It's our deputy Senko. It's the curriculum leads. If you've got a child missing, you either highlight it and bring it to our attention, or you make that phone call. Because, if I was a curriculum lead and I've got to get some attainment, I'd be ringing that parent saying, so little Johnny hasn't come in for 3 lessons. We've got a really important part of the curriculum that they're going to miss out on. And then, our real vulnerable children, the Senko and the Deputy Senko, and we have an inclusion hub. So we have a suite of offices where if a child is so dysregulated that they're not going to make it successfully within a lesson, we have a suite of offices that they can go to. They can sit. Our lessons are all on our iPads, so they're not going to miss out on the lesson. They might not have that one-to-one with a teacher or that, that teacher showing them what to do. But they'll have the lesson on the iPad. They've got a suite of offices they can relax in there. It's quiet. Some children in our school don't even like the hustle and bustle. We're a huge school.
Yeah.
You know, they don't like that. That's enough to sort of trigger them. So it's like a quiet area where there'll be some adults. We've even got a sensory room.
Right.
So sometimes the RSCN children will just go up there, but not necessarily all of them. If a child is not feeling well, but we feel that they could remain in school, that's another offer to them. So we have that provision. We have a lot of clubs. So you've got 44 clubs within our school. Every teacher or teacher member of staff and all the leadership, etc. We all run clubs or take part in a club or, you know, are partnered within a club. So morning, lunch times, after school, there's always a club. We've got a breakfast club, so with the magic breakfast, and that's been amazing. And don't think that's a reason that they would come into school, but that's another sense of belonging. Absolutely. They can go to a lovely warm place in the winter. In the summer, there's an area that they can sit outside in if they want to. A hot breakfast, you know. There's no criticism or anybody thinks it's bad of them, but it's just somewhere they can socialise and meet with their friends before they get down to go into the lessons.
Yeah, and I think those extracurricular, that's another way that schools are bringing up that sense of belonging, because the children belong to that group that they're going to and have those interests. And it's great for all different areas. Yeah. So in terms of balancing high expectations, because you will have high expectations, and we've got to have those in school. So how do you balance high expectations with empathy for students who might be facing barriers outside of school?
Yeah, I think the high expectations is that we expect them in school. And the barrier might be that they haven't got the bus fare or they can't make it because mum has to wait or dad has to wait for the next salary wage check to come through. We try and bridge those gaps. And we're like every other school. There is a limit to our budgets. You know, we have got a limit, but we are fortunate in the number of people that we have within our attendance team. We have got a minibus that we use. We would collect if we need to. We talk to parents about, you know, when they phone up to say that the children aren't coming in because, and we try and discuss at that point where we feel they could come in. Let's get them in for the morning. We'll look after them. We talked to them about the inclusion hub, and we'll see how we will look after your child. Don't you worry about it. We'll make sure that they are looked after, and if they have to, we will, you know, send them home if they have to. But you know, we'll try and get them in. And most parents, to be fair, you know, they've got busy lives themselves and they would prefer their child to be in school. But it has been a culture change. It has been a real turning of that Titanic ship where before it was just, well, you don't have to come into school at 40 if you don't want to. Doesn't nobody says anything. Well, we do say something. We phone up. We you know, we've got within certain points, we've got certain staff like the pastoral team will ring up. If it's the Senko pupil that's on their list, that they will ring up. And so, and we all sort of talk to each other. I think that's one of the biggest things that's made the difference within the school. All departments, year teams, we'll all safeguarding team, we all talk to one another. And our office is a hub of activity where people are coming and going, oh, I've just got through to so-and-so, they're coming in now, and or so-and-so's, you know, I've tried to talk to them, they're not coming in. So it is that communication as well. Communication's key, isn't it?
And joining all of those dots up between all of the different areas, because there are different senior members of staff that are in charge of those different areas, but actually there's one child and we need to work together to support that child.
Yeah, precisely, yeah.
So let's talk about rewards. And many schools wrestle with how to reward attendance in a way that's meaningful but doesn't create pressure as well. And I know you've done quite a lot of work on this, Saroj. So what's your approach at Fortis Academy when it comes to rewarding good attendance?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing we did really was look at doing a pupil voice, not just on rewards, but what do they think about school? What is their barriers? What do they feel about attending school? And everything that they've said in there, we've tried to address. So they feel like they want more activity. So that's where the extracurricular things have come into. They've said about rewards. Some of them have said about a shorter day, but we can't accommodate that one. But rewards, I mean, like I said, our school is, you know, a highly deprived group of children, and to them, it's they love a reward. So we've got every term we have a crazy spin the wheel, where somebody in each year group will win something. And if you've got high attendance, you get more tickets in that.
Okay.
So it's not just attendance, it's behaviour and everything else. So we do, and pupils know that.
Okay.
And we give away, bikes and Nintendos and stuff. And it's all live. It's a live draw. That's the crescendo.
Yeah.
But over the year, every single week, we acknowledge that form tutors will every Monday we'll do an attendance conversation. So it's all online. It's all on their iPads. The pupils will write down what their current attendance is. That if there's a pupil that hasn't come in, the form tutor will have a discreet conversation with them. You know, what could we have done to maybe bring you in? And I'm glad you're better. Or what is the barrier? So that's every single Monday. And attendance is the top priority at the school, and I feel it. It's like it's in the air.
Yeah.
And then by way of rewards, that form tutor every week can just give 2 people in their form a jump the queue pass. So we have one dining hall with all the children that have got to come through to get their dinners, and that pupil can wave this little magic ticket and go to the front. Yeah. Kids love it.
Yeah.
And then we've sort of done a VIP version of that, because on Friday we have chips, like most schools, only on a Friday. Yeah. So the queues are even more. So we have this VIP pass where they can actually jump the queue on that Friday, and that's been great. And then it's evolved actually through pupil voice again, where I was going, well, why aren't more kids going for the VIP? Because they don't want to go on their own. So there's now a VIP +1, and I've only launched that this week. It's like taking a dinner date with you, so it's great. So I'll let you know how that gets on. But that was what they wanted, so we're going to do that for them. And then I try and do something every half term, and I've done Halloween hampers are being done this week, and I try and reward as many as we possibly can do. And then if I can do a trip or a visit and link it to attendance, we do. So there's lots of rewards, and then just little things for us to keep that really good relationship with some of the kids that have struggled to get in, and we're acknowledging they're not 100%, but the fact that they've got to 30% that week, or they've got to 40% the following week, etc. We've got a big chocolate tin in ours, and it's great for my attendance team, because they are classed as sort of more back office people, but they have that really good relationship with some of those pupils. Put their arm around them, come and choose a chocolate. Well done for this week. You've come in 4 days out of the 5. Some of them have come in for the week. And it's just tiny steps, I can give you some examples of kids. Only a couple of weeks ago, year 7s, when they come into struggle, because it's an enormous school. They've come from a 1 classroom or a 2 classroom primary school to, 80, 90 classrooms in a big school. And, they will struggle. And one pupil struggle so much with the mental health to come in. And I know, and it's about those relationships. I know mum from the older sibling. Right. So mum was crying at the front of school, and it's heartbreaking when you can't get your child out the car because they don't want to come in. But honestly, our SEND department, an amazing job the Senko did, slowly but surely got that child in. And now she's just walking around with a little group of friends that she's made. And it's so rewarding, It's not about the figure. Yeah. It's about the fact that that child is in and they are enjoying school. Absolutely. And that's the main thing.
Yeah. And what a difference to that one child as well. And
it's not just a child, Melissa, it's a parent as well. To be crying about your child not coming in. It's heart-wrenching, isn't it?
It is.
So and then that parent will say to other parents, look at what they did, And hopefully then a school and the community will understand we're not just a school that wants to have high attendance. We want it for the right reasons.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's got to be done for that. It really does. And I think from all of the things that you've discussed today, you can see that it is done for the right reasons. It's for the outcomes of the children and making sure that they're happy as well. It's so important. So have you found that the recognition that you give and the rewards, have you found that it motivates pupils, or is it more around that culture and the consistency?
I think it really does motivate pupils, because I think if I spoke to a pupil 2 years ago and said, what's your attendance? They wouldn't have a clue. Yeah. Now they know it, but it's not just a figure. They're so proud of having 100% attendance. And we have 50% of our kids are 100%. Wow. Or between 95 and 100. Yeah. But, a couple of years ago, I couldn't say that to you, which is why, A-Stars made that turnaround for us as well. So I feel that they are really keen about it. We have attendance displays in our forms, when they have that conversation, little aeroplanes going up into the green, so that kind of thing. And it's trying to involve everybody, and making sure that attendance is always that top priority in our conversations.
Because it feeds into so much. It's the golden thread that feeds through school, behaviour, outcomes. It is all driven by attendance.
And research shows it. It's not so much just that we want to improve because our attendance wasn't amazing, but we are proud of where we've got to, but we're also proud that our attainment has improved. All these pupils that are coming, 600 pupils coming to extracurricular activities in their own time is because they want to come to them, and then they're bringing their friends along, and it's all great. It's really great.
So looking ahead, what are the next steps for Fortis and your attendance journey?
Yeah, I think so. I feel we discuss it at leadership all the time, and I feel that we've got so many initiatives going on now. It's embedding them. It's making sure that there is rigour and consistency with everything that we do, because the price is high. We need to make sure these kids do well to their next journey in life. And then for me, I feel that we've got the ear of the pupils. I want to get the ear of the parents now. I want to try and, I'm not an English teacher, but I'm going to try and do a bulletin, sort of get that information across to parents so they know where we are on our journey. They can see where the pinch points might be and also giving advice. And then I am toying with the idea of maybe having a drop-in morning once a half term or something, coffee and cake maybe, or just a chance to speak to somebody, rather than it getting to the front of school where you're in floods of tears about your child's attendance or waiting for a letter to drop, which is like so far down. We want to get that communication so we can try and nip things or support where we can do. And I think that's probably the next journey for Fortis, to really drive it further.
I've done some drop-ins for parents in the past, so I'll certainly speak to you around them, and they do work. They do work, and I think if you can get some local authority attendance officers to bridge the gap there, and different people that can come in and speak to parents, because it is all about community and it's around them realising that actually there's so much support available and actually we want to support.
Yeah, I mean, I'm jumping on Senko's, actually she's the one who's going to be doing them, and I'm like, can I come along as well, please? Because our send attendance and nationally is a concern. What is the barrier with you? How can we support you? And parents will have little nuggets maybe they can give us about what the barriers are, which they see maybe at home, rather than maybe what we see at school. So it's all feeding into it. And again, it's that great link between the community, the parent, the child, the school, the teacher, the Senko, the curriculum lead. Everybody is in that journey, and it's a vibe. Yeah. We were talking yesterday about having a streak, I don't know, way beyond
Snapchat streaks.
How long's your streak, don't break your streak. So I'll let you know about that. It's a bit
definitely.
beyond I'm too old for that one.
Thank you so much, Saroj.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your insights, for your practical strategies and sharing what's working at Fortis. It's been a great conversation. I think what really comes across is that attendance isn't about percentages.
No,
it's really not. It's about the people, the relationships, and creating a school where the children want to be. Yeah. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in to School Attendance Beyond the Percentage. If you found today's episode insightful, please share it with colleagues, subscribe for more conversations that help us all to rethink school attendance. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep going beyond the percentage.